Welcome to another edition of Sound Chat with Irish and Chin. Interviewing some of the legends, Kingston, Jamaica, in the Garrison. Strictly sound system culture, living legend in the sound clash world. Original Joe Lickshot, Jimmy Metro, the owner of Metro Media. Man himself, Cutty Ranks.
Here we know, girl. No one time gone, it was Miss Alive.
Over the years, on a whole, the sound system industry has been blessed with so many talented selectors. When I say on a whole, I mean both the juggling arena and the clash arena. Now, some of these selectors were able to make their names transcend from decade to decade to decade, and some were not able to. But very few of those selectors who you know as popular names today that were popular names yesterday can have the bragging rights of this man that's sitting next to me. The bragging rights of which he holds is something that I call a selector's selector. Now, the terminology, a selector's selector, it simple means this. 9 out of 10 times, the top selector, the one that you rate, your favorite selector in the dance hall, took lessons from this man that's sitting next to me. His name is Captain Midnight. In the late 80s to the early 90s, he played a sound called Super Saint. You know what I mean? Very, very influential in the molding of the whole sound system culture. We haven't seen him for a while. I mean, his name lingers throughout the arena. Maybe not amongst sound system fans, but in any sound discussion that you will have with a sound system owner or a sound system selector, and when we're talking about the craft of the music and those who were talented from day one, Midnight's name always comes up. And I gotta say, it's a pleasure to be sitting next to him because you know I'm a sound system fanatic, right? What's your story? Where did it start for you? You know, let's talk.
Way back. Started like in the 70s.
Now, it started for you in the 70s, and we already acknowledged that you are the selector that's praised and looked upon, you know, highly rated by most of the top selectors today, or most of the top selectors that played the game. But in the 70s, who was the selectors that you were praising when you entered the game?
Honestly, Barry Garden.
Barry G.
Yes, Barry G.
The boogeyman.
The boogeyman. For music, Barry G. For words, Winston Williams.
So you have a combination of Winston Williams, Barry G.
Yes.
And those were the people that you
idolized.
Idolized, that's
Yes,
the word.
yes.
Idolized coming into the early sound system thing. What was your first sound system?
A sound system called Super Rock
Super Rock.
from downtown King Street.
What year was that?
That was in the late 70s, early 90s, early 80s.
Late 70s, early 80s.
Yes.
Super Rock. So we're gonna take it from you being a young selector on Super Rock. Who were some of the sound systems that Super Rock were playing with at that time?
Sounds like Metro Media, Gemini, all them sounds coming up.
So we're talking late 70s, right?
Late
so in the late
70s.
70s, going into the 80s, I know Metro Media was pretty much a live sound system.
Yes.
With live artists.
Yes. So was Super Rock.
So was Super Rock.
Yes.
That's where I'm getting to. Like, who was Super Rock's artist at that time?
Well, we had a youth by the name of Quenchade. Yes. We had Ghost and Culture.
Oh, at that time, it was Ghost and Culture. Yeah.
Yes, Ghost and Culture. You're talking about Panther, not Pink Panther from Black Cat, but another artist by the name of Panther. You had Puddy Roots and all those guys used to pass through.
See.
Yes. The same guys from Metro Media would be there also, because it was like a friend family thing.
See.
Going through. And it came right up to the 80s.
On Super Rock.
On Super Rock.
And what describe that era with you on Super Rock? What was it, you know, with Captain Midnight? Who else was on the sound with you at the time? Anybody that we would probably know now? Or?
No, not right now.
So you were just the pilot?
I was a pilot, yes.
Ghost and Culture, Quenchade.
Yes.
Who is one of probably the most underrated dancehall singers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? For some reason, Quenche just got lost in the sauce, but he was very significant in the dancehall at that time. Culture went on to kind of fade off a little bit, and Ghost went on to have a prominent career as a solo artist, as a singer, right? Just to describe to the viewers, you know, of the caliber artists that you're talking about that you started out with. Now, let's go to the nightlife with Super Rock and the sound systems that you mentioned. Like, any competitions? I know you wasn't a Clash man, but I know that also juggling and having live artists and some performance always turns out to have a competitive edge somehow or another.
Well, to be honest, you know, as you say, I wasn't a Clash man, but I would outplay many sounds.
And this is where I want the conversation to go. So because I'm asking you this, right? You were famous for outplaying sound systems. Who were some of the sound systems and selectors of those sound systems at the time that you were just running circles around?
Oh my God. Some of them I can't even remember their names.
We're not even talking about on Super Saint, because we don't get to that legacy yet. We're talking about the young Super Rock with the young Captain Midnight.
Yes. Yeah, well, Sky Juice was one of them. Sky Juice was one of them. Jeremy Lee.
Jeremy Lee was Jaro?
From Kilimanjaro, yes. Good sound, beautiful sound, wicked sound. But sometimes, you know, tonight is your night. And you will get a better night of selectors.
And most of the nights were
Most of the nights were my nights. Scorpio was one of the songs I used to run around.
Who was playing Scorpio at the time? Was it Jack himself, or did he have a selector?
He had other selectors. I think there was Strike. What's his name? I can't remember his name quite clearly right now. And Jack himself would be there.
See,
even though Jack is still
Jack
there.
is always
He's
in the
there,
sauce.
yes.
He's always in it.
Yes.
Musically, you ran around them. How was your crew of artists then, competitive-wise? Or do you think that, and I ask you this and I ask you to be, you know, honest about it, was your live artist team a little bit weaker than the rest, but because of your musical skills you were able to compete with the best? Or was it a balance where, you know, you were putting out good music and they were also putting out the good energy as live artists, which made Super Rock a force to be reckoned with at that time?
A balance.
It was a balance.
It was a balance, because I should remember also, you know, Snaggapos.
Yeah, Dickie Rankins at that time.
Dickie Rankin
at that time.
Right.
Right.
And Squidly Rankin, all of them guys was with us.
See.
But like I said, it was like a friend family thing.
Yeah, because some of the names you mentioned was Metro Media
Metro
artists.
Media artists,
right.
And me and Metro, we had a close friendship, where I would go to wherever he's playing, play sound for a few minutes and so forth. But it was still Super Rock.
What was the early Captain Midnight like? Because I wouldn't be able to sit here and, you know, a lot of my viewers are not going to know of you. And some of them will. But we need to describe to them why you have been crowned the selector then. What made you different? We're not going to Super Saint yet. What made you different as a young selector coming up on Super Rock?
Brave. Being brave. Was not afraid of anyone, any sound, anywhere, at any time, with the least music. What my style was, whatever song I'm going to play connects with whatever I say.
So it was speech?
Speech
and tune?
And tune had a lot to do with it, from day one until now.
There were also, during the era that you're describing to me on City Rock, Super Rock, I'm sorry. What about the Glamour Waynes and those selectors? Are they in the picture yet? Or are they getting in this? So pretty much you were playing before Glamour Wayne.
Long before Glamour Wayne.
Before Glamour Wayne. What about Rory? Because we're painting a picture here.
Well, Rory came in the picture while I was playing Super Rock, yes.
He was in the picture?
Right.
What was a dance with you and Stone Love like then? Because that was Rory's song at the time, Stone Love.
Yes, Stone Love, yes.
What was a Super Rock and Stone Love dance?
It was always a good juggling dance. Never any sort of a bickering or great competition. It was just niceness with each and every one at the time.
Were you able to outplay Rory?
At that time?
At that time?
Yes, man. Yes, man.
So, what was it? What tactics, what methods did you use to outplay somebody like Rory then, who was a king on the rise at that time as well?
Yes, he definitely was. I will not take that away from him. But my little tragedy is I always listen to how another selector plays.
How did Rory play at that time?
At that time they called him the Gentle Genius.
Right, the Gentle Genius.
Right. He had a thing about him where he would do prime time. And you know, in prime time, he would give you one set of vocals, just straight vocals. And you say, all right, he's gonna play this set of music at this time.
So he was predictable.
He was predictable.
What were some of those vocals that Rory would play? Because we definitely need to you know, we need to paint the picture.
Oh yes, well he would play like a Malibu, a Barrington Levy, you know.
But it was his prime time.
It was his prime time.
So was it top 10 vocals at the time, or was it just his selection that he was famous for playing?
His selection that he was famous for playing.
Dance got crazy when he played
Yes,
it.
yes.
So you're going to play. You're on Super Rock now. You're gonna play with Stone Love. You know that the Gentle Genius is there. Everybody is a fan of Rory's. What was the tactic that you used to get around that segment that he would play in the dance?
Keep the vibes going at all time. Always top 10. Always top 10. Because my belief is, don't go way down the line where someone doesn't know what's going on. Always stay with the crowd.
Same.
And that was always my tactic, and I will continue to have that tactic. Work with the crowd. If you know the crowd love a certain song that Rory would be playing,
Play it before him?
Definitely.
Play it before him.
Play it before him.
So you're
mash up his selection.
basically dismantling his juggling.
Right.
No, that seems, it has to be more easier said than done. You know what I mean? Because if that was your only method to dismantling Rory, then I think that Rory would have pretty much, you know, been outplayed every night that he played. It had to be more than that.
Versatility has a lot to do with it, you know.
Were you playing alternative music and dancehall music, or was it just straight dancehall? Like, what's the versatility?
A combination of everything. I would take songs that 99.75% of selectors from yesteryear to today wouldn't play.
Like?
Such as a song like I Would Like You and My Sweetheart to Be Friend. Songs like those selectors wouldn't play because they wouldn't know what to say before they played.
Sin.
You know, and that was a thing that I had an edge over everybody with. Until we don't reach that section yet.
we need to. So and we're still on Super Rock.
Yes.
Right? So you're a young selector, you're coming into the business. Rory's one of the monsters. Who is the next monster other than Sky Juice?
At that time.
Because Rory's musical.
Very much.
Sky Juice is not that musical. Sky Juice is more of a performer.
Performer.
Yeah.
Entertainer.
Yeah.
Yes.
He will definitely, you know, go over the board with that. And if you're not focused properly, and if your selection is not properly, Sky Juice will just run
right round
with entertainment.
And he'll use your style and beat you too.
Who is another musical person?
At that time.
What happened to Inner City? Was Inner City
Oh,
around?
well, Inner City came in the business, yes, in the late 70s, right into the 80s.
With Dragon?
Yes, with Mark Dragon, Danny, and Wally.
Those guys were good too.
Very, very good. They were one of my set of competitors.
No, and that's what we're getting to.
Yeah.
That's definitely what we're getting to.
But that was moved away from Super Rock. No, to Super Saint.
So you basically fought it out with them on Super Saint.
Yes.
So let's stay right now at Super Rock. Rory. Who else was a musical genius at that time or on the verge of becoming one? That when you were going to play with them into a dance hall, you have to say, boy, I got to study this person. Like, oh, you say you study Rory and realize that Rory plays a top 10 selection.
What would I say? At this present moment?
You should know more about the older. Who was playing Gemini at the time? Was it Welton Irie?
No, it was Welton Irie. And Gemini used to have its own live artists.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Ringo, same Welton Irie. Who was the selector for Gemini? I can't quite clear.
Welton was a selector
yeah,
and a DJ.
And a DJ.
Right.
He had Michael Irie and all those guys. Going for Gemini.
Did it take a lot of preparation to play with Gemini?
No, because Gemini was an easygoing sound system. But the entertainers, you see what you have to understand, you know, those entertainers would move from Super Rock to Gemini tomorrow night, from Gemini back to Super Rock to Metro Media to you name it.
See.
You understand? So it was like I keep saying, it's like it was a family thing.
So the difference with Gemini and Metro Media and Super Rock was the way you played the music.
The way I played the music.
Not really the live artist, it was the way you presented the music.
Right.
And you said versatility. What other type? I know you said Sweetheart to be friends. Give me an example of, you know, why everybody started to put their eyebrow up and say, yo, that you, they're bad. Like, what made you stand out?
I would have a line of juggling, and that line of juggling will take you from the beginning to the end of the session. I would start from here to here, while most selectors start here and go there.
So you climbed?
I climbed.
So what would you start out with on a normal juggling? Well, like, what type of music? Would it dancehall?
No, lovers rock.
Lovers rock?
Lovers rock. 90% of the time, lovers rock. And sometimes it depends on the crowd that you're with. The type of music you have to play for that crowd.
So you go from lovers rock to where?
Lovers rock to something more steadier, and then you go up tempo, and then you would go to hip hop and change it around.
So you were playing hip hop at that time?
Yeah, everything, man.
And that's funny because during that time a lot of hip hop wasn't be playing in dance.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
We're still talking early 80s, right?
Early 80s.
Yeah, hip hop wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
But then you had good tunes, good hip hop. When you put on that hip hop, everybody would rock to it. You put on a Billie Jean or you put on a Billy Ocean, you name it, everybody would go crazy. The early 80s.
So you move. Well, before we even move to Super Saint, what was your most memorable dance on Super Rock?
On Super Rock, playing against Little John Sound, Romantic Hi-Fi. Yeah, that session was at Greenwich Farm. Little John come to me and said, boy, midnight. If the body's tune them, you know, you have to have them tune if you play against every sound. That time Super Rock was owned by a great friend of mine, many people thought was my cousin, by the name of Winston Mew. So we used to up and down and same place down King Street there where we had a restaurant and everybody would team up down there, many artists would stop by and so forth. So Little John say, yo, I have some tune, you know, come for the tune, man. Gave me one specific tune. Super Rock are the baddest dancer sound in Jamaica.
Right.
And it's so up that we only play the same night. And we say, well, since as you say you're the baddest sound, it's only a Little John going to kill a Little John.
See.
And I use that Little John and lock him off the night because it's something that him get the boxes that he was using was from Volcano.
Sound system.
Yeah, you remember that sound?
Yes,
Henry John Jalad
John Jalad sound system.
Yeah, man. Enough sound guys don't know that sound. Enough people don't even remember about that sound, and you have to big up them sound because them come do a lot of things in the business.
Definitely.
You know, but that was a very memorable dance for me on Super Rock.
So it got competitive then, because if you lock them off, it got,
yeah,
it
man,
got
very competitive because
Look at John was trying to prove.
Yeah, man, yeah, man. When you see Max, let me tell you, tell you about the whopping we get.
So did he have live artists or what was on his songs?
Yeah, we had live artists that night, but not for long.
Okay.
Yeah, it went on, you know, things was changing a little bit, so it went more into a musical thing than live artists because he had like Shadow Man, him himself, Little John, few other more guys that was there with him.
And who do you have?
We had our same Quenchy there and Panther and Ghost and Culture and you know so forth.
The music starts to change. By the time you move along to Super Saint in what year?
I think it was 82.
82.
Yes.
You're moving along to Super Saint. I wouldn't say the music, but the whole presentation of sound systems started to change.
Yes.
Live artists started to kind of fade now.
Right.
You know, and it pretty much now came down to the importance of a sound system having a good selector and being able to have great presentation. right? You start out on Super Saint. How did you make the transition from Super Rock to Super Saint?
Well, this is where the business got really, really hard, in the sense where a selector had to work, perform. When I stepped away from Super Rock and went on to Super Saint, it was just me alone playing Super Saint.
Well, why did you leave Super Rock though?
One Friday night, I was upstairs playing, and the owner, which is Mr. Scott, Earl Scott, for Super Saint, came by and heard me playing. And just the way I was talking on the microphone, he said to Horace, that's Horace who makes sound system boxes. He went to Horace and said, you know, I love how the youth there, sound on the mic. Sound good, you know. Bring him in, you know. Saturday morning, Horace checked me. I said, all right, change is good, let's see what's happening. Brought me by Super Saint's place.
So Super Saint pretty much had a sound system before
What he was never playing.
was never playing. He just
No.
had like his own own thing.
Yeah, he had it before with a different name, right? And when I went there, I saw the name Saint on the box. You know, scratch onto it, and I said, Saint, you can't just be a saint. You must be a super saint.
Well, naturally coming from Super Rock.
Yeah, you know. So you want to be superior,
Yeah,
you know.
right.
And that's where it started.
So you go now.
Mm-hmm.
The sound system is brand new, pretty much.
Brand new.
It's the selector from downtown who has been, you know, making waves with Super Rock. How was the launch?
I tell you something, the launch was good and I was nervous. Very nervous, because I'm going to tell you something. The first night Super Saint play with Stone Love was inside Tropics nightclub.
Thursday night?
Dumfries Road. You know what's going on, man. You're from way down the old school, man. That was a night. And the thing is, Rory was the top man at that time.
At that time?
Yes. I can't take that away from him. Rory was a top man. And when I went into Tropics tonight and I stand there and I look and I see Stone Love playing and the amount of people inside Tropics nightclub.
But at that time, Rory should have already had some kind of respect for you.
Yes, he did.
Right.
He did. But still yet, no man wants to lose his ground.
See.
So, you know, Rory as a man who smoke his Mataran and thing, you know, and wearing his beret and stuff. I was there standing, observing, and I said, what am I going to do to control this dance now? Believe you me, when Rory called in Super Saint, for the first 10 minutes, I lost my voice. I couldn't talk. Because to the amount of people me say, and remember that the Stone Love hometown you have to say, you know. Because every Thursday night,
All
everybody.
the Stone Love's fans.
Yes, everybody look out for Stone Love.
In Tropics.
Right, and their Stone Love now was launching Super Saint with Captain Midnight. You understand? So I have to prove myself, and I have to play one round in that dance. But the one round was so exclusive that the whole place went in a frenzy. At that point, Rory was like, lighting like the smoking and the smoking, and me I say, yeah man, me have him away, you know. Yeah, and then me build up confidence and start talking. From that I never stop.
So
but it was a good job
you
that
made
night.
you made a name. So basically Stone Love brought you in.
Yes, Stone Love brought us in. Yes,
So maybe, is it safe to say that the owner of Super Saint and the management of Stone Love had some type of,
yes,
you know,
there was great connections.
great connections there?
Yes.
So they bring in Super Saint.
Yes,
Super Saint now makes this big exit.
yes,
Captain Midnight now is no longer the sound, the selector playing a small sound.
right.
You're in Stone Love them league.
Yes,
Right? You're playing at the House of Leos, you're playing at the Tropics, you're playing at the Chelsea
Yes,
Jerk Center.
yes.
You're doing it.
yes, man.
This is where Inner City comes in.
Yes.
This is where Gemini comes
Yes.
in with Glamour Wayne.
No, Glamour Wayne wasn't in at that time.
Glamour Wayne wasn't in at that time.
No.
So you're still with,
Super Saint.
you're still with Welton playing
Yes, yes,
Gemini.
Gemini.
Who else was there?
Sky Juice was there.
Sky Juice was still
Sky
there.
was- Sky Juice was still
Sky
there.
Juice was still there.
Sky Juice was still there. Ian.
Roadstar.
Me lift my hat to the youth. there.
Roadstar. Now,
Yeah.
now, to be honest with you, and I really, really want to have an interview with Roadstar Ian, because when the selectors talk about the greats, if it's not Captain Midnight, it's always Ian from Roadstar, or both.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And this is something because I spoke to Glamour Wave, and Glamour Wave, yo, them two man there, hats off. You know what I mean? So you're held in high regards. So my quest today is to find out why you have been held in such high regard, because you're not a sound clash man. So we can't say you killed 1,000 sounds, so them have you as the best selector in the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I need you to really describe the whole legacy of you on Super Saint, because you took Super Saint to a level where I want to say the people feared Captain Midnight more than they feared Super Saint.
Most definitely. Most definitely. And a lot of people would say, just like yourself, that I was never a clash selector. But once the clash came by,
You take it.
I take it and deal with it.
What was your first clash like on Super Saint, and who it was? Who was it?
My first clash
Who was brave enough?
on Super Saint. There was many small clashes before, but the biggest and most memorable clash with Super Saint, and you're going to believe this when I tell you, Super Saint and Bodyguard.
Wow. With Johnny?
No,
Or is it Big Mac them at the time?
them time it was Goldfinger, Tony and Big Mac.
Yeah.
And Courtney Singh themselves.
Where?
This was at a place called Club Hawaiian in Maypen.
In their hometown.
In their hometown.
So how does that work out? Because Bodyguard is a class sound.
Straight.
Super Saint is a juggling sound.
Straight.
How did it start? How did it work out?
That night, let me tell you, in the morning, the Saturday morning, the same day of the dance, me and Horace, because Horace became the road manager for the sound, you know, and we went to King Jammy's studio in the morning, and I said, boy, midnight, oh, your cut. I said, oh, yourself, man. Because the first thing I used to listen to Bodyguard cassettes at Skateland. Everybody was crazy about Bodyguard. And my great-grandmother always tell me, say, small axe fall, big tree. I learned that at all time. There's only one thing, when the tree fall and step away and don't make it fall on you.
See.
And that was my thing. Anyway, that same morning when I step into the studio, I say, Bodyguard. I say,
You gonna take the dance serious?
yes, man. So I say, him have one box of lacquer disc. That's dub plates, them time. No
That-
CD business.
Dub plate, so it's
Dub
a
plate.
transco box.
Transco box.
Whole 25.
Yes, man. And him cutting all 25 plates.
That would be
Four-
That would be
four-
400 tunes. That.
Right.
100 tunes.
And I cut only one plate. Only one.
So it's his 100 tunes
Against my one.
and your one. What was the song that you cut? I have to ask. Cause you sound very confident
Yeah,
in the
man,
song.
because-
What song was it?
Who's gonna bodyguard, Mr. Bodyguard?
That's Mighty Diamonds.
And then about the 45 say, I Am the Danger by Chilayo.
Wow.
Yeah. Them time, when we inside the studio, I say, nah man, something alright. Because if Bodyguard have so much tune already, and him have to come cut so much tune for play me,
That mean them
him have a fear towards me. I'm say, alright, I don't know nothing. Boom, the sound reach before me reach. And them time the selectors reach dance early. It's not now like selectors are superstar.
Prime time.
Yeah. I reach my dance to make sure my sound is put in the right position where the proper acoustics.
Yeah.
And when I reached the dance, it was about 5:30. And the first tune I heard Bodyguard was playing. Bodyguard is a big sound where they have 40 bass speaker. I only have 16. But I had a truck driver, which was an engineer at the same time, to name Fraggy. I said, Fraggy, remember at all time, split one column in two and have one big column in front of me. That is it. And that's exactly what we did.